We're all here today, Debug, the Coalition of Justice and Accountability, Asian Law Alliance, the NAACP, and also all the families out here in this city, in this county, that have been impacted by police violence, that have lost loved ones. We're here today to call out that we need a new oversight model to oversee the police and police violence in this city. We're here to claim that Kelly from the POA must resign. We want to call out the mayor and the city council on their silence on this issue. Why they didn't step up and defend this man, not only to this man, but the office and the families that this office is for, so they could have that trust, so they could go in and go to somebody and have some kind of light, some kind of hope of accountability. So I want to go ahead and say a few names. When I say a name, I want everyone to say it right after me. These are all those that have lost their lives due to police violence. AJ Phillips.
AJ Phillips.
Anthony Nunez.
Anthony Nunez.
Antonio Guzman Lopez.
Antonio Guzman Lopez.
Diana Showman.
Diana Showman.
Jacob Dominguez.
Jacob Dominguez.
Jesus Guinea Montez.
Jesus Guinea Montez.
Philip Watkins.
Philip Watkins.
Richard Harpo Watkins.
Richard Harpo Watkins.
Rudy Cardenas.
Rudy Cardenas.
And Stevie Juarez.
Stevie Juarez.
Oscar Grant.
Oscar Grant.
All right, next up, I'm going to go ahead and let the families come in that have been impacted by this issue.
Good afternoon. My name is Sharon Watkins, and I am the mother of Philip Watkins, who was killed by San Jose police officers on February 11, 2015. I, along with the other families, are here to demand justice for our loved ones, the justice they deserve, the justice we speak about in this country's Pledge of Allegiance, which states liberty and justice for all. A short time ago, we, the families here, thought we had an opportunity to see justice done for our loved ones. The Office of the Independent Police Auditor, the IPA, had an ear to the community. Families were treated with respect and our pain acknowledged. It was for that reason the Police Officers Association, the POA, began their witch hunt. They showed pictures of grieving mothers seeking justice and labeled us as anti-police, criminalizing each one of us and adding to the emotional stress and pain we already have. We are pro-justice, and we were starting to believe the Office of the Independent Police Auditor was pro-justice as well. On the other hand, the Police Officers Association has shown us by its actions that it is not pro-justice when it comes to the families that have suffered the loss of loved ones at the hands of police officers. That it is not pro-community when the community is a group of grieving mothers. That it will not tolerate anyone willing to support the families that are suffering from the aftermath of police violence. Thank you for listening.
Thank you everybody for coming. My name is Laurie Valdez, and on February 21st, 2014, my partner Antonio Guzman Lopez was killed, shot in the back twice by San Jose State University Police Department. And the San Jose PD were the ones that investigated, which that says it all. But I'm here today to discuss what Sharon just said as far as the POA being a place where the community can go to and help find out how to get justice in a way that's fair to all of us. And the POA's office not only went on attack and bullying efforts on the IPA, Aaron Zisser, he also attacked us family members when we spoke at a forum and said to the media that we need to implement a policy that holds family members accountable for not intervening for us having to kill their loved ones. Nobody did anything about that. Our city council and mayor have stayed silent. They have condoned this behavior. It is toxic. It's like a disease that's going to infect the whole department, and it is dangerous for our community, and we don't need this. We're trying to help bring justice and to heal our families, but also to prevent more families to join this group that we've been forced to be a part of. We don't want other people. We're not anti-police. We're anti-police violence, which is their behavior. Their behavior is horrible. And we don't need bullies with badges in our streets with guns intimidating our community and blaming us for their actions. Every adult needs to be held accountable, whether you're a cop, a civilian, whatever. Every adult is responsible for the action. So therefore it is that POA, Sergeant Kelly needs to step down. He is toxic for our community and he shouldn't even be in that kind of a position. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie.
Hi, my name is Rosie Chavez, and I'm the auntie of Jacob Dominguez, who was executed on September 15th. He was unarmed. I just like to say, when we found out, we didn't find out through the police department or any staff. We found out from the streets. The first thing the SJPD did was go on a press conference and slander his name and justified the unarmed killing of an execution of my nephew. You know, with mixed emotions and with everything that was going on and grief, I didn't know about IPA. I never knew there was an IPA in our community, but I was told, and I went with a few other family members. We filed complaints. We had our concerns, and it was intimidating going through that. Only a few days, a few weeks had gone by, and it was, I felt that I felt that the staff and IPA, Aaron, they showed concerns. They listened. They wanted to hear. And you know, I just didn't go once. I went a few times. There was a few other incidents that had happened that I went in and followed in, and that's where my trust was. I was starting to trust the process, in a sense. You know, I don't feel that way today. I don't feel that way today because POA has what was supposed to be an independent police, independent police auditor. It's not that way. It showed me that POA can say and do and control what we thought was independent police auditing, and it's not. There needs to be a different oversight. There needs to be some changes, and again, you know, the tactics that the POA used, slandering our names and just victimizing us all over again, that's just wrong. And you know, there's now that the IPA, there's an application right there. IPA has an opening position now, and you can submit it to POA since they control. There's a forwarding address to that, and you can do that because POA is in control of it. So thank you.
Okay, my name is Kimberly Phillips, and I'm the mother of Aaron James Phillips, best known as AJ. He was murdered on August 10, 2015, and they staged a suicide. Okay. Following the departure of Aloris Cordell, we have had 2 IPAs from January of 2016 to August of 2018. Walter Katz served just over a year, and Aaron was just under a year. Both abruptly resigned. Both tried to build trust within the community and the police. Walter Katz was going to have a year-long monthly public forum he called Bridging the Gap Between the Police and the Community. The first forum was held on January of 2017. Several of us families attended that event and we spoke. Then in February, a month later, he announced his resignation. Aaron Zisser had more of a hands-on approach. and with the community, which caused him to come under attack from the Chief of Police, Eddie Garcia, and the President of the Police Officers Association, Paul Kelly. There was a recent public forum by the Silicon Valley chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women and various others. It was called Speaking Candidly. Aaron and his staff attended in attempts to build trust with the community and the police. A few of us attended and we spoke candidly. Weeks later, he resigned. We should consider the commonalities and not take them lightly. The citizen complaint review process should be done with the utmost integrity to ensure public safety. And since it can't be done independent of the chief of the police and the Police Officers Association, there is an urgent need for a new oversight model of the police. We have an idea of what that model will look like, so please stay tuned. Thank you.
Well, hello everyone. I am affectionately known to the community as Uncle Bobby. I am the uncle of Oscar Grant. On January 1st, 2009 at the Fruitville BART station in Oakland, California, my nephew Oscar was murdered by the BART Police Department. In an effort to build community relations with the BART Police Department and the community, there was a campaign launched to bring in a citizen oversight committee with an independent auditor. And of course, we were successful in that. If San Jose wants to bridge the gap between the community and the police, they must consider and allow an independent auditor and a citizen oversight committee to be formed here by citizens, not the POA. As we can see, all these families that are standing behind me, maybe with the exception of Rudy Cardenas, all happened after January 1st, 2009. Am I correct?
Yes. Yep.
And so what we see happening here in San Jose is a building of families that has been impacted by police terrorism in this city. There are 3 to 5 times many more families that has been impacted that has not yet got the courage to come out. However, as long as we stand and continue to speak on this issue of police terrorism in San Jose, more and more families will stand here. So it behooves us as a city here in San Jose to look at how we can bridge the gap between the community and the police. And so what we're asking is that an independent auditor from the community be placed here, as well as a citizen oversight committee. Our failure to bring about transparency to the police department here in San Jose will allow us to see here in San Jose just what we've seen in Oakland when it came to Oscar being murdered, what we've seen in Ferguson, what we've seen in New York, Albuquerque. We could go on and on with the names of cities that has erupted behind police terrorism in their city. So let the city of San Jose become aware that we're not asking, but demanding that a citizen oversight committee be established, as well as a citizen from the community as the independent auditor, not from the police department or selected by the police department, but from the community. Thank you.
My 18-year-old cousin Anthony Nunez was shot and killed by the San Jose Police Department on the 4th of July of 2016 after several calls for help were made. Without getting into all the details, in my opinion, what Mr. Kelly and the POA did to Mr. Zisser borderlines on criminal. Reminded me of an old-time political smear campaign. When they characterized my family as anti-police, they missed the mark by more than a mile. We had gathered to celebrate the 2nd anniversary of his murder to keep people aware of what had happened to him. As you all know, stuff like this makes headlines, then it disappears, people forget. Our whole aim was to make sure that the people of San Jose did not forget what the police did to our loved one. I believe that Uncle Bobby was saying that we do need independent oversight. I would like to see the POA modeled after the BART's POA because they are totally independent. They answer to nobody, and I think that's exactly what needs to happen here. As long as the POA has their tentacles involved in any aspect of this, it is not going to be fair. is not going to be conducive to trust, and it's not going to do anything to help our families get justice. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me, Raj. I'm from the Public Defender's Office. I want to applaud all of you for your continuing this conversation, or starting a new conversation about the demand for a truly independent IPA, the need for community collaboration, and I want to point out that this resignation is a serious wound to community trust. In my job, I have the benefit of working with the tools of legal protections, constitutional protections, but they're founded in values that I think our elected representatives need to uphold in this context. Equity, justice, transparency, fairness, and all of those things need to be upheld by the elected representatives in ensuring that the community works together with the police to ensure accountability. And that's viewed as this negative thing by the POA, backing out when the conversation gets difficult. But it's not a negative thing. We all live on these streets together, and we should be working collaboratively together to improve our community through better policing, better communication, and better policies. And in this instance, our elected representatives should have ensured that process. They should have ensured that the POA come to the table and act more responsibly than taking their ball and going home. They should have ensured better and more robust community collaboration. And so I applaud you, and we support you in your effort to obtain that from elected representatives, to get our electeds, to get our mayor, to get our city council to make a true commitment and to follow through on that commitment to ensure that the community works alongside the police to afford true accountability, and that when one of the parties, the POA, is unwilling to come to the table in fairness, is unwilling to come to the table in good faith, that the elected representatives will be the ones who step up to ensure that the process is fair, to ensure that both sides have equality and equal voice, and that the result is acceptable to the community and to the institutions that we rely on to work together. So thank you for inviting me to be a part of this. I'm supportive. My office is supportive. We will continue to support you, and I applaud your commitment to this hard work. This is a grave wound to community trust. I think what has happened here is a very serious failure of elected leadership, and I hope that by your willingness to stay at the table and to continue the conversation, we can move forward and we can build back that trust. Thank you.
I think it's clear to me that the families here are here for justice. The San Jose POA would only be satisfied if the new IPA comes from their ranks. Is that fair? Is that right? No. We need somebody who's independent, who's not afraid to stand up. And now that the POA has forced out Aaron Zisser, I fear that no one will apply. No one will be able to fill that role. We need somebody who's strong enough to stand up to the POA, because the POA should not run this town, should not run the city council, should not run the way accountability runs. Thank you very much.
First, I'm very glad to be with you guys. Not under the circumstances, but I'm glad to be here. I'll say this, some of you might not know. I'm a commissioner on post, Peace Officer Standards and Training. And two families from this community went with me down to LA to attend a post meeting. At that post meeting, they were receptive and they listened to them. They were not rejected or considered inhumane. But to come back and find out our POA would post a picture and say such inhumane things about people from my city is a shame. And I hold Paul Kelly totally responsible for it. You see, if the leader is a weak leader and leads trying to find faults, like number 45 we currently have in the White House, all he's trying to do is divide us and conquer us. I'm also currently embarrassed that out of all the rallies I have been to and participated here, this is the first time over my shoulder I've seen police stand out here and watch us. They are actually watching us, and that's a form of intimidation. We will not be intimidated by San Jose PD. They must know that. Eddie must know that. The mayor must know that. Chappie Jones must know that. We don't care what dogs you call out, we are not going to back down. Historically, you have used police to control communities of colors, and we are not going to be controlled. You either want a good relationship with this community or you don't want a relationship. Now, whatever this new IPA, whatever process you think you're going to have to bring him in here, we're supposed to be part of that process. And right now, we're not even sure if we want to be in your process. So whoever you might decide to bring in here might not be accepted by this community, so it'd be a moot point. You'll be paying the salary that we will do everything possible to make sure that he doesn't earn it. We will not make sure anybody in this community would go to anybody that you pick and select. It's not an individual person. We want a new oversight model altogether. You want to put a fly in the soup like the POA put a spy in the IPA last time. The history of what the San Jose PD has done to the Independent Police Auditor's Office is a sham, and it's a shame. We want a good relationship with the police. But if the police don't want a good relationship with us, just keep doing what you're doing, and baby boy, you got it.
These are all those that have lost their lives due to police violence. A.J. Phillips. Anthony Nunez. Antonio Guzman Lopez. Diana Showman. Jacob Dominguez. Jesus Guinea Montez. Philip Watkins. Richard Harpo Watkins. Rudy Cardenas. And Stevie Juarez. Oscar Grant.